first tell. Wrinkled forehead, ears straight up.
Very
That's a downgrade from the screaming and the lunging.
But you know, what's interesting is she's very interested.
Yes.
It's too much.
Too much.
So, but she's letting me, interestingly enough, our relationship is already taking a shift because of those recalls I did, where she let me deal with the thing. It could be a squirrel, a dog, a person, doesn't matter. She's also looking at me,
Yes.
which I like.
Yes.
Reagan's over here air humping.
All he wants to do is go sniff her and figure out, is she
Yeah.
male or female, and can I dominate her?
But he's about to find out. I want to show her how to keep him away.
She's throwing off some not so great looks
Reagan's out.
on this end of things. Definitely not looks of let's be friends, right? So we have to understand that about her. You notice the salivation's increasing too. So what did you see?
In a second, I'll get right to that. Break. Come on. You good guy. That's good. Break.
Good girl. This is very vulnerable for her. Not good looks.
Good, free. Good, free. Free. You're good. You're good. Reagan's just reacting to me. Because when I snap, he...
Look at all the drooling she's doing.
Come on.
It's practically a faucet out of her mouth.
Good boy, Reagan. Very free. He smells it.
See all the drooling? You can't see from the camera, but it's like, it's literally like a running faucet.
She respects me more than I expect by that already.
Yep.
So I'm able to get away with this.
Yep, you're holding the room together.
Yeah. For sure, I see, you know, I know what the owners have said, but what I see is a fight.
Mm-hmm. I see it too.
So, so here's the thing. They knew enough, which is good, to not introduce them,
Correct.
which means they know something underneath it.
Right.
Right? If they didn't have a suspicion that it could go wrong,
They would have introduced them.
it would introduce
Yeah.
them. The fact that they didn't, which is good on them,
Yes.
smart, and send them here smart decisions, that's telling us
Yes.
that they know something is going to happen. They see the same thing that I see here.
Yeah, the look she was giving him,
It's going to be bad.
dangerous.
It's
Yeah.
going to be bad.
Yeah.
So we don't want to deal with that.
She's gonna need to view Yodi as a pack member.
Right. But more importantly, in order to do so,
Control.
we need to be
Yeah.
viewed a certain way.
Yes.
Like you just said, I held the room together.
Yeah, you not only have control of her, but you also have control of Riggins and
Right.
things.
That's why you need both
Yeah.
dogs to be here, which they
Yeah.
are, so we're in a good spot. But it really, don't think about the commands don't think about training as much as think about this is going to be relationship, pack, hierarchy, that kind of stuff. If you can get your brain there, you're in a good spot. If you're just thinking this is about the sit, this is about the down, it's not. Of course, that's all useful, but as you can see, I don't even have all that with her, and I'm holding the room together, right? And you know, I did start the recall, but if I didn't have the recall, there's other things I could have done with her to gain that status, and then introduce Riggins and still have success. Because it is about hierarchy, unfortunately, but with this type of dog especially, and him as well, if you don't understand hierarchy, you don't prioritize it, and you don't understand where the leader's position is and how to create a follower, we're gonna have problems. Now, she's easy at home, in the living room, when there's nothing
laying
going on.
around. Yeah.
Of course, you're in a padded room with no stimulation, right? As soon as you add the real world element, like step outside the door, we start to see things falling apart, right?
Yep.
Or something comes through the door. You
Yes.
start to see things falling apart. Thing is like, so she's reactive, okay? No surprise, she's reactive. That reactivity isn't just her screaming at the dog, it's on the walk. and I know that's what most people think reactivity is they see a dog and they start going crazy. Reactivity is going to be her seeing anything coming into the environment and her reacting. So instead of, you notice when I introduced her to Riggins, she was not reactive. Meaning she seen him and then she looked at me and didn't react. She waited for me to respond and to say, how should I react? Which is a good sign, by the way, that she did that for me so early on. But if there was a person coming into the room right now, I could get the same thing. I could get her to just look at me and not react to it. But if a person came into your house, I guarantee you she's running up to that person. I guarantee you can't stop her from running up to that person. Now she's friendly, so it must not be a problem. That's wrong. It is a problem. Something came into the house and she decided how to deal with it. So she did. And we can't stop her. Good thing she's friendly. And then in the modern world, everyone thinks that's fine, cute and dandy, so she's getting pet for it and everybody's happy, right? But she was just reactive in your living room. Something came in the door, she's dealing with it, right? You couldn't tell her to stay and then have a person come in and she actually stay. No way, she was reactive. It was just in a way that because it wasn't dangerous, it's okay. If it was a dog on the walk, now she's screaming and it seems, not a good sound. It sounds terrible, right? It's a bad experience, so now this is a problem. Both of them are a problem. Both of them are classified as reactivity. Both of them are equally a problem in the red flags, okay? Even though one is probably more likely to get dangerous, they're both stemming from the same issue. She's choosing how to respond to things, which means she doesn't have a leader. At least in her own eyes, she is the one that is leading in those situations. Someone's coming to the door, let me greet them, let me deal with it. Here's a dog, I have to deal with it. So I'm panicked, I'm stressed, and this is how I deal with it. Go back to the example of Riggins coming down the stairs and her holding still and not doing anything. If that wasn't me and that was the owner and they did the same thing, she'd flip out, right? The difference is the relationship, right? You just removed one human and put another human there, right? Who has a different relationship because I spent, 5 to 10 minutes with her building something and then showed her the dog? No reaction. Because I started to become leader. So she let me, which I'm very happy with her for doing, she let me lead. She didn't see herself as leader in that moment, so there was no reaction. I didn't even get a chance to correct her for reacting to anything. I never even had a chance to say no to reacting. It was simply, this is proof that it's simply just because she didn't see herself as the one who's leading. She's seen me as leader, her as follower, so therefore, it's not my responsibility to react, so I'm not reacting. Does that make sense? All right? So that's what's important, is our relationship. If she were to step on my toes and try to respond to him, I would correct her. Because it's my job as the leader to decide how we're going to respond to things. And if you're deciding how to respond, then you're in trouble. It doesn't matter if you're being aggressive or you're being cute. You're still trying to choose how to respond, and you're going to get in trouble for that, right? Not responding and looking at me and saying, how should I respond? That's a good girl. Now I love that, good job, right? But just not paying any attention to me and going up and dealing with the situation, now you have to deal with me. Now we're in trouble. Right? Good girl. So this is how you're going to keep her safe. Alright? The commands are great and they're there for us to keep control, but it's not the real glue. The real glue is the relationship and knowing how to use the commands to keep that hierarchy in check, where I'm leader and she's follower, and if she's trying to lead, that's when we're applying corrections. She knows this. He knows this. The dogs know this. Humans, not so much. They don't really understand, right?
Good girl.
They don't
Look
see
at that.
Good. We're gonna get more dogs in
That's
there.
pretty impressive.
Yeah, she's responding to hierarchy.
Correct.
It's great, and she trusts me, right? Because I'm also showing.
If they can get Yodi to do this in the same room with her, we've achieved their goal.
Well, you can.
Yeah.
Right, you can. Good. But it's not knowledge of the command. So I just want to hammer that home in this video. It's not the knowledge of it. It's the respect of the person who's giving it. Okay? And the respect is earned. We can't, nobody can. It's impossible to give you the respect that we've earned. We can only show you how to get it, right?
That's a good girl.
Good girl. Okay, good girl. Now get this. Break.
Good girl.
That's good.
Those looks.
Alright. Bergie's in afraid of her, but he's concerned about how I'm going to respond to what he wants to do.
Yeah. Why do you think the salivation increases so much when she's put in a stressful situation?
That could be just that. It could be anxiety.
Anxiety,
I don't
yeah.
know, but what I see, I'm not exactly sure exactly what's happening, but what I can tell you what I see a lot, pattern that I've identified. I see it a lot with males. If they are really, if they have like a high prey drive or like a really intense drive. I'm trying to say this classy, but I don't really know how to say it. But the males, I'll see the same thing if they have like a sexual drive, right? You can see it when they start smelling females, especially. And sometimes it's just a dominance thing, but they really intensely want to go have that interaction. I'll start to see them drooling.
Yeah,
like
and that's why she was drooling.
I mean,
Yep.
so badly. They want it so badly. It's like everything in their being is like vibrating.
Yeah. I saw it when she was sniffing the yard too.
Yeah, so maybe it's not always a sexual thing. It can happen though with that. I've seen males do that, but it can also happen with dominance too, and it can also happen with anxiety.
Yeah.
When a dog gets anxious, really anxious, they can start drooling more, start panting more. But it's not something I'm even concerned about because that clears up on its own. But as you can see, she gets really stiff, and there's going to be a problem. You can see that. If you were standing here and having to hold this together, you'd probably be like, let's just separate them. Something bad is going to happen. But we have to work through that. Riggins knows what not to do. I trust him. And what I'm seeing from her is she's possibly going to correct him. She can read what he's got bad intentions. He wants to hump her. He didn't hide that. I mean, he's not doing it out of respect for me, but that's what he wants. She can sense that, and she's not going to have it. Now, some dogs will just
roll over on their back.
let it
Bring out Adelaide.
Right? So those are two different temperaments. Those are two different dogs, and they're not treated the same.
Opposite ends of the spectrum.
Right?
Yep.
We need to make sure.
We treat her as who she is.
Yes, you got to be more careful. You got to, so you can get away with dogs who are easier. You can get away with not really doing everything 100% right? Or really being worried about your relationship being so strong that you can get your dog to listen at any time. And because the worst they're going to do is like maybe jump on somebody, which is still bad, but they're not going to rip a dog's face off or something. You can get away with it. I still don't recommend it. I still recommend everybody do their best at being the dog's leader because it gives them a better life. But a dog like this had, because of her brain and its ability to kind of flip so quickly and the strength that she can do it with, it's going to be more dangerous. It's going to be more dangerous. So, but the good news is with a pittie, usually there's a lot of loyalty. So, and we can create a lot of pride in listening. So they actually can become quite easy to manage and to live with and to have control over. But if you let it slip, the consequences are much more dire. So you can't let it slip, right? So that relationship. But I hope you're excited about that because that's what makes me excited. Is it is all about the relationship, and that is the fun part, and that is the part that bonds you. So the bond will be really, really strong between the owner and the dog, which I think is what everybody wants. I mean, that's what I want. But we also have to remember we're a leader. We're not there just to see her happy all the time. Right? If she's happy because I can give her food, then I'm happy. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for to make sure she listens to us. That's our main goal. Because if she can do that, she's going to have a good life. If she doesn't listen to us, she's going to make a few mistakes that might make her life suck. Right? Could even shorten her life. We've seen dogs that are great dogs, but they're aggressive. They're great, but they have these streaks of aggression, and one too many of those, and it's like, that's where you get rehomed, and then rehomed, right? Good girl. So, good. All right, great. Gotta keep pushing on here.
is
Oh, hello. Easy out. Good mama. Great. There you go. Good girl. Come on, Fred. Yeah. Nice work. That's good. That's good.
look how insecure she is without being able to dominate.
Yeah. Lots of dominance in there. She's holding herself back.
Well, she knows she can't scream. She knows she can't lunge. She knows she can't dominate. So she's like, I don't know what to do. That's why she looks so insecure.
The crazy thing is I haven't told her no to any of those things.
God, Izzy is so good at this.
Good. She is. She's good at bringing it out. Right, so. Good. So I'm showing Zara right now that I can control the other dogs. That's going to be a very important piece of the puzzle for her to see me as leader, right? She needs to trust the fact that I can handle them. Right? That's going to actually make it easier out in the real world when we see dogs, because she's going to say, oh, he's got this. And that's where I can get that trust, where she knows that I'm going to be able to be confident enough to deal with the outside world. So those little moments where the dog's up on her and I tell the dog to leave and it does, she's documenting all that. She notices that. Good. Very nice. Now she just wants to go out the door though. Okay?
Let's let her out and see how she recalls in.
That's right. Usually, she's going to get a freebie this time. She's going to run right out. Every time after this,
Yep, she'll get thresholds.
every dog learns to wait at every door. If just because there's an open door doesn't mean you run through. She's going to run right out.
She's gonna run right out. Her association's already there.
So, it looks pretty bad. So, I'm going to actually, she's going to run out. And then I'm going to correct her and call her right back in. You guys stay. Come here, honey. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Hello, sweetheart. Hello, sweetheart. Hello. Oh, you see on my face. You see hello. That's a good girl. Who's the good girl? You are. Yes, you are a good girl. Wow. So this is all rewards for coming back to me. Yes, she didn't listen. She ran away. You know, when I first recalled her, she went in the opposite direction. But after I corrected her, she came in, and so I'm giving her her affection for saying good job for coming in. All right.
Different choice second time around.
Wait, see what happens here. See, the other dogs aren't doing that. They're not trying to run out the door. That's a resource. Alright, that's something that she wants or needs. It's valuable. So the leader gets to control when they go in and out. So if she goes out without permission, correction, recall back in. She can go out when I release her. And just like these two are waiting. So I should be able to step out. She's probably going to make a mistake when I step out. But that's actually good. Stay. And now I'll release.
Good girl, good boy.
Good. Good. I'm gonna let her go out by herself. See how she does.
Marking.
Yeah,
Yep. Female marking is dominance.
for sure. I wonder if they even know that she marks.
No, because I think the average person wouldn't be able to identify it, especially from a female.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what she's doing. You see, it's a tell when they go to squat and they leave one leg kind of up like that. But also the way she's doing it, she'll mark, she'll pee a little bit, and then go somewhere else and pee a little bit after smelling. Instead of just kind of peeing all at once, she's marking. Which is a dead giveaway that the dog cares about hierarchy and they're thinking about it. this plays out here. More marking. She's been attacked by dogs before, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's probably where the suspicion comes from. She's kind of seeing every dog as a possible threat. Continuing to mark right over top of Izzy. She's more interested in Izzy because I think she knows she can dominate her.
Mm-hmm.
She's leaving Riggins alone a bit because he's not such an easy guy to dominate. She's telling her right there. You usually catch any of that on camera?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not play.
No.
Unfortunately. She's not giving Izzy the opportunity to sniff her. She'll jump around and not let her have the rear. But she wants to sniff Izzy, so when it comes to dominance, when sniffing, if she wants to remain in a higher position, she's not going to allow Izzy to sniff, but she's going to get Izzy to let her sniff. And that's kind of the game they play with each other. So you can see that's why when Izzy went to go sniff, she hopped around and then told her with her body language, no, right? Okay. I'm gonna recall her now. If she's done potty, she's marking again. So every time one of these dogs uses the bathroom or marks, she goes over, sniffs, and then marks over top of it. See the tail?
Yeah, straight up.
She's posturing to Izzy. You know, see? Izzy's so chill, she's not worried about her at all. So that's telling.
Yeah, she's not well.
Izzy just keeps going in for the conversation. Look, these dogs are so good at this.
I know. Izzy's very well socialized, and Zara is not well socialized.
That's true.
Two opposites.
That is so true. She overreacts. Zara overreacts. And that overreaction is going to get her in trouble. She's actually very insecure underneath it all. Very insecure. So, and which is what we usually see.
Yeah.
You see these dogs that are being overreactive, aggressive, and then underneath it they're super insecure. And they lack social experiences and social skills. So Riggins went up and sniffed her, and then she panicked and ran away. But neither Riggins or Izzy are nervous
Afraid of her. Yeah.
at all. She's going poop again. This is like 5 times here.
Yeah, it's
Barely
marking.
anything coming out,
It's
yeah.
marking, yeah.
Izzy's marking over her. No, they're all marking over each other. There they go again. Izzy keeps going back for it.
Look at that.
Yeah.
No.
Izzy knows we're backing her up.
Yeah.
That's where the confidence is coming from.
Oh, super dominant from Zara.
Yeah.
Look at that stiff postures, tail straight up. Look at her tail. Look at that tail.
Izzy's loosening her up a little bit though.
Look at Riggins' tail.
It's good. I just feel like Izzy's done such a good job. at
I
getting
know,
that.
I know.
And she's not spooked at all.
I know, you should have seen her at the festival. Probably 100 dogs came up and sniffed her. She just laid there.
She keeps looking at me too. She knows, because she's done this so many times, that if a dog starts to go over that line, that I'm going to deal with it. And so she just keeps an eye. And
Another more marking.
I mean, she's marking more than
Yeah,
most at this point.
she's empty by now.
She's gotta be, right? Alright, we're gonna recall her in. See how she does. I'm gonna start with the tone here. Let's go. Tone this time. Good girl.
Different response than last time. Look at all that drooling.
Couple
All
corrections
that
there.
hands-free. So we're able to get her to us and we're able to hold a stay, all hands-free.
And I'm chill. So another thing is I'm like, oh no, all that energy, it just always makes sense. Whereas from our experience, if you're doing that kind of stuff, that's going to make it a lot worse. Good. You see her
She just had a thought of walking away and she held it together.
You see that? Yeah. So she came in that time without correction. That was good. And then she
walked back out.
Back out. She was getting beeps as in the recall, but she decided to not listen to it. Gave her a couple corrections. Came in. Good girl. Good girl. I'm gonna go for a stay here. Stay. So just the fact that, see that right there?
Stay until she doesn't want to anymore.
This is where the work begins. So this is what testing the boundaries looks like. Good girl. Riggs, 9. Riggs, here. Come on, bud. Good job.
Yeah, so basically right now, the best that you're gonna get from her is stay until she doesn't want to anymore.
Right. I'm using this door though.
Yes, she wants to go out.
Good. Stay. The beauty of the door and using that for stay is that you get motivation for them to want to go out or in one way or the other. So if I can say stay, and if she's staying and they're staying, but I'm going out the door, which is what they all want to do, what's that telling their brain, right? That it's clear that then I'm the one that's controlling the situation, okay? Good, and then they get rewarded for listening. Good girl, honey. That's very nice. Stay. Good.
Good girl, good boy.
They're teaching her.
Yes, they
Great.
are.
Come
I'm
on.
teaching her the
Good
release.
job.